Alright, so welcome back. I'm Jordan, and this is Jordan Sports Talk. You know, kind of had a very emotional, I'm not gonna say weekend, but early week. Happy New Year's to everybody. But my New Year's was fucking terrible because my Oregon Ducks lost to Ohio State. I just lost, man. We got whooped, man. But let's just get started. I'm gonna start off this week's show with the college football playoff quarterfinals results. Of course, like I just said, I'm an Oregon fan, so my Ducks lost 41-21. We'll get into that a little later. Texas won 38-31 against Arizona State. We'll get into that later. Penn State won 31-14 against Boise State. We'll get into that later. Notre Dame won 23 to Georgia, 23-10 to Georgia. We'll get into that later as well. So let's start about each individual game because I did watch each individual game. We're gonna start with Penn State and Boise. It looked one-sided, but there were glimmers of hope for Boise State because, first of all, they were keying in on trying to stop Ashton Jeanty, which we've seen was their main focus. He had a minimum of 6 people in the box, and at times it was 8. I seen one play. It was a play that Boise State actually scored off of. It was like a fake toss to Ashton Jeanty. You see the whole D-line shift to him. See all the linebackers jump straight towards him. The DBs come down and go towards him. It's a total of 9 people going at him already, which allowed for a wide open touchdown for the tight end to just streak down the field. So you see their main focus was stopping Ashton Jeanty, which they did. He had 100 yards, but they stopped him because it took him 30 carries. But that game could have been closer, but we see Penn State's defense just came to play. They finished it. Also, that tight end, I think his name is Tyler Warren for Penn State, number 44. Man, that boy nice, man. We played him. Oregon played, we beat him, but that boy, he was tough against us. He gonna be tough against Notre Dame. The next game we're gonna talk about is the Texas game. that game was funny because me and my dad, we was in the gym watching that game. At first it was 17, I think it was 5. They had a weird score because 17-5. It was like Texas was just finna take it. They was just finna roll them. It was finna be roll Texas. Texas was finna just go. We get to the gym. I check my phone. Next thing you know, it's 24-22. I'm like, oh. I didn't get to see that part happen. I'm not gonna lie, because the last thing I had seen was, I think the quarterback, he either threw an interception or was turnover and downs in scoring territory. The last thing I seen was it was a turnover on downs in scoring territory. Then we get to the gym, it's 24-24 because they run a 2-point conversion with Cam Scatterboo. Speaking of Cam Scatterboo, that boy was tough too. At first he had a slow start as well, similar to Ashton Jeanty, but my bad. That's a notification, ESPN. I'll be on there one day. But like I said, he had a slow start as well. They ended up getting him mixed in the passing game, which he had a big catch that led them down to score. They had a run later on to get them there. They scored, and 2-point conversion, he scores there. So, he was a big key factor. They ended up going to OT. They score first in the first OT, and then the second one they could have won. Arizona State could have won in OT. It was 4th and 13. Young DB or not people that are on defense, y'all know 4th and 13. You want to try to get some pressure on the quarterback so he can throw up a little bullshit ass throw, or at least so he can force something into double coverage. So that's what Arizona State did. They sent pressure at him, but the pressure didn't get through at all. And that's the thing. Texas had a big O-line. It was kind of hard for them to get to Quinn Ewers. So when they did, that was a big thing. And so you see, that 4th and 13 is they sent pressure. I think they sent 6. It was 6 that went. They got all picked up, blocked, and then I forgot who was it. I don't think it was Isaiah Bond. I forgot who it was, but the Slot receiver was able to just run a seam straight in between the DB. It was, I think, watching the outside, and the safety was over top, just ran right in between them. Touchdown. The Texans got the ball for the second OT. Scored 2-point conversion. Arizona State just couldn't score. That was a close one. It was a good one. Probably one of the most competitive games, but Oregon versus Ohio State. I'm gonna get more in depth with it later on, but for right now, I honestly don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what happened. I don't mean to be cussing a lot because I'm trying to keep my professionalism because this is what I want to do on TV, but I also have to be me. So I apologize for a lot of cussing if I do it. But like I said, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I don't. My other Oregon fans out there, we expected it to be back and forth, whoever gets the first stop. It seemed like when Ohio State lost to Michigan, that just sparked something in them that they needed. I get I don't know. We could have stopped Jeremiah Smith. We could have stopped the offense in general. It was and when we did get stops, we could have moved the ball. We were running easy, predictable plays. I don't know what's going on with Dylan Gabriel. The second half, we locked in, but it was too little too late. That deep ball to Tez Johnson, if he would have threw it earlier so he could catch it in stride, because they had bounced off the DB's helmet, that would have been a touchdown. Could have went into halftime. Those 21 points we put up could have been a better comeback. Hey, that's a whooping I'll take. Good luck to Ohio State. I ain't no hater. My dad's a Notre Dame fan, as I'm about to talk about them next. So I am, I guess, going for Notre Dame because my dad's a fan. But, I ain't no hater. Do I want Ohio State to win? No, because they beat us. But if they do, good for them. I think that Texas – actually, we're going to talk about that later. But that's going to be a good game between all of them. Notre Dame and Georgia. I'm not going to say I expected Notre Dame to win because one, Carson Beck's hurt, so they had to rely on their second-string quarterback, which he hasn't had a lot of time to, see certain things. This be a bad time to have your second-string quarterback and going against one of the top defenses in the country. Not only that, he's seeing things he probably hasn't really seen a lot. He probably seen them in practice, but this is the college football playoffs. This ain't the same. Simulated pressures. He's seeing things coming at him. He has to make reads at the line, the scrimmage. He has to do all this. He may not be as comfortable with it yet, but I think in the future he will. But that Notre Dame defense was just getting to him. And it's crazy because I was seeing earlier, Notre Dame has 7 starters out of the 9 on their offensive line and D-line. So without 7 starters, they still did that. When those 7 starters would come back, I'm not sure, but to do that without 7 people that are starters, that's scary, which means if they come back for the semifinal or if they win against Penn State and then they come back for the national championship, that'll be big for Notre Dame. And they're missing a star corner as well. Now, moving on, this is something that I'm about to say that I think the College Football Playoff Committee would definitely look at, which is all teams with byes lost. Oregon lost. Arizona State lost. Boise lost. Georgia lost. All the teams with a byes lost. There are no conference champion winners in the College Football Playoffs right now. And that brings up a question, does that mean, do they have to move it earlier and adjust it to where everyone probably gets 1 week off? It becomes an issue because, they haven't played football in almost a month, while the teams that didn't have byes get 2 games to, under their belt to, kind of keep that drive going. And before I move on, there was, a thing I had thought about. I was so if the conference championships are, December 7th. Oregon's Big Ten championship is December 7th. I think, say we play conference championship, the next week is when the playoffs start. So the Oregon, the conference champions, they get that week off while the conference championship starts that next week. And then after that, it goes a week, and then it picks back up for the quarterfinal. And then now you start getting into the semifinals where now you get a week off again. Now you're into the semifinals. So it's now the bowl games match up with the semifinals. The big bowl games that everybody wants to see matches up with the semifinals. So you'll have the New Year's Eve bowls and New Year's bowls, which I'm not gonna lie, it'll be 2 bowls for the New Year's Eve bowls. No, 3 bowls for the New Year's Eve bowls. They would probably be sent out to like the other top ranked teams that didn't, make the college football playoffs. And I also think that a New Year's Eve bowl or New Year's bowl, one of the big bowl games should be the location for the national championship. You know what I'm saying? So, which means also moving the game up instead of playing on January 20th. I think the national championship game would be like next week, January 10th. That would be the time for it. All the bowl games, like this week would have been like the semifinal. The next week would have been the national championship. That's what I think, at least. Let me know what y'all think. Um, who could stop Ohio State's electric offense, and will Texas defense be enough? Will Texas defense be enough? I'm gonna say it like this. You know, Texas does have a Jen Thorpe Award winner. I forgot his name. I seen it earlier. I think it's something Burton. He's tough. He's tough. They have another. I don't know if he was a finalist or if he was in a running, but their safety, Mukaba Senior, I think, or Junior, he's tough as well. That whole Texas DB core, they're tough. I mentioned that D line, so I think Texas defense and Notre Dame's defense are the best options to stop Ohio State's offense. And I think if Texas defense can stop it, they win. I don't know how well that DB will match up against Jeremiah Smith, because Jeremiah Smith just went up against a Tennessee DB that he embarrassed. He went against our DB embarrassed. He's 6'3". I think the Texas DB is 5'11", so he has a height advantage. So we're gonna see if they play man. He gonna have to show why he's a Jim Thorpe Award winner. If they don't play man, then we're gonna see what offense, what scheme Chip Kelly with Ohio State just comes up with. But that's gonna be an interesting game to see how defensively Texas can hold Ohio State's offense. Then it comes to another point where we're like, can Ohio State's defense stop Texas? Well, not will they. How good would Ohio State's defense be against Texas? Because we've seen their defense. They have one of the top scoring defenses in the nation. I think they're actually number 1. So the only big game they ever gave up was us when we beat them 32-31. Besides that, they don't give up anything. So it's like, how are they going to be able to stop? Because they got receivers to worry about, like Isaiah Bond, Bolden, I forgot. It's another receiver. They got the running backs to worry about, Quinn Ewers. Then they might put Archie Manning in to run it or throw it. So we're going to see how Ohio State's offense can also, go against that. But I think 2 things are going to happen. It's either going to be a close game to where the winner's decided within the last couple minutes, maybe OT, or Ohio State's going to blow them out the water. I hope it's the first one, to where Texas may pull it out, but we're going to see. I'll get some water real quick. Defensive battles with top defenses in the semifinals, and which defense could be the best. This kind of goes along with what I was just saying before. I said Notre Dame's defense, even though they have people hurt and they aren't starting, a couple of D-linemen not playing that are starters, corner not in, they still show that they're a top defense and what they can do. They can match up SEC physicality. Like, they can win. They can put points up. As you see, they forced a fumble against Gunnar Stockton, and that allowed the offense to be in the red zone already and score. Penn State's defense is nasty. Against the Boise State, Abdul Carter, one of their edge rushers, he got hurt with his left arm, and he didn't come back in the game. So I don't know if he's questionable to play against Notre Dame, or if he's just out the game knowing that they were going to win, and so he can be healthy for the semifinal. So we'll see when that game comes if he's going to be playing. But their defense is still nasty. So that's going to be another defensive battle. And I already mentioned Texas before, so that was just a little piggyback on that question. Is the opposite side of the bracket with Penn State and Notre Dame enough to win? Will Notre Dame be the favorite if they beat Penn State? See, that's interesting because the opposite side of the bracket, like people would see it as like, oh, it was easy. There was no like hard test. Penn State blows through. Notre Dame showed a hard test when they beat Georgia just now. So, like I said, I feel like if Notre Dame beats Penn State, that just it shows that Notre Dame's I wouldn't say they're the favorite. I'll say they'll be second because everybody, we can see Ohio State's the favorite right now. They beat up, blew us out. Yeah. So Ohio State's the favorite, but Notre Dame, I think it depending on the score and how that game looks against Penn State, they'll be the team that be like, oh yeah, they're gonna have to play their best to beat Ohio State, or they're likely the ones to beat Ohio State. Because right now that's what people are looking at. Right now is Notre Dame's likely the second favorite to win the national championship because the odds came out. Ohio State won, Notre Dame 2, Texas, then Penn State. This is another piggyback that I said earlier when I said all teams with a bye lost. That means no conference champions are in it no more. So it's like I said earlier, it's like the college football playoff committee are really gonna have to come together and think about this. Like, so do we do the bye week? Do we just do continuation games and no one gets a break like right after conference champion week to shorten up so it doesn't go too far with people getting too much time off from football? So it's really gonna bring up a question for the college football playoff committee next year. But this year shows certain things will boost teams' momentum and keep them on like a momentum train that won't be stopped. Like the home games for the first college football playoff, if you're a higher seed, that boosts you up. Then you just got done playing football. You get a little short break. Then you play again in the quarterfinals. So you're already on some momentum after playing home, and now you're fired up. So it's like the college football playoff committee is definitely gonna look at that to see what changes can be made if it happens again next year. So they might not change it for next year. They're going to see if this happens again with conference champions all losing, all teams with a bye losing, they might look to change it to the year after. Potential college football national championship matchups. So I'm going to do this two ways. I'm going to say who I want to see in it, and I'm going to say the potential matchups that may happen and who will win. So who I want Notre Dame, Ohio State. I think that's the realistic one that may happen, but I want Texas to win. So I want to say Texas and Notre Dame, but I think realistically it'll be Notre Dame and Ohio State. An interesting one would be Ohio State and Penn State because it would be like a Big Ten rivals playing in the national championship. It would be an iconic scene. The only thing, Penn State hasn't been in the Big Ten championship in a while. Well, actually, that's cat. We just beat them in the Big Ten championship, and then we beat Ohio State. So it'll be like, dang. So what about Oregon? It'll bring us up somehow. But that'll be a real interesting matchup. It'll be a really good game, being that they're Big Ten rivals. So it'll be like, yeah, Penn State and Texas could be an option, but I feel like if Texas is able to hold that off, it'll be Penn State would have a chance if Texas could hold off Ohio State like that. Then again, any given day, anything can happen. So it's like each of these matchups is interesting for different reasons. Now we get to the moment I ain't really want to talk about for real, man. But y'all gonna make me talk about it. I had to sip some water for that one, man. How do I feel as an Oregon fan? Excuse my language, but I feel motherfucking sad, boy. It's like, I'm gonna be honest. I texted my girlfriend. I was like, man, my new year just started, and it's already bad. I was just sitting there watching the game. Don't worry about that. I was just sitting there watching the game. So let me start off, first of all, with this. Part of the reason why, I'm not going to say the reason why we lost, but we didn't have all of our threats on the field playing like we needed. Apparently there was an issue with Evan Stewart. If you don't know, if you didn't watch the game previous to that, Evan Stewart was the deciding factor why we beat Ohio State in the earlier season. He torched number 10 on Ohio State. He torched the DBs. He had 2 big catches and a touchdown. He had multiple big catches and a touchdown, taking them deep. He was the energy and the receiving threat that we had that beat Ohio State. But apparently he had like some type of injury. I don't know if it's a hamstring or something, but he had tweaked it, and he had an injury from practice following up like all the way to the game. And he had tweaked it in the pregame warm-ups and all that. So I guess it was a game time decision that Dan Lennon said, you don't have to play. It's about player safety. We need you next year, rather than, I guess, apparently Evan Stewart wanted to play, so I don't know. But I think if he played, that's just another threat. You know, Dylan Gabriel, I don't know. They say he was, out of this world in the little interview, but it looked like he played like he wasn't making like the normal reads. He wasn't trying to escape the pocket as much. He was throwing, he had a couple obvious passes where he just threw it straight to the defense. It wasn't picked off, but it could have been. Like Caleb Downs, the safety for Ohio State, was in the middle of the field just watching. Dylan Gabriel throws. Caleb Downs was already literally waiting there, and the receiver is running behind him because Caleb Downs is already there. Easy, almost picked off. Another throw, almost picked off by the linebacker, similar. So it was like he really didn't know what to do. Like everything was premeditated, and it was coverage. It seemed like the offense was just drawn up, and Ohio State seen the plays and just already knew what to do. It was like there was just nothing they could do. Defensively, we just couldn't stop Jeremiah Smith. Once he got going and he torched us first, I had all these big catches. There was nothing we can do. There was a play where Will Howard threw it deep to Emeka Ibuka. Great catch. I give it to him. Great catch. But great catch, like I said. But the DB, the DB hand literally tipped the ball, and Emeka Ibuka had good focus to catch it while the ball was being tipped. All the DB had to do was just swipe it away, and that would have been an incompletion. And the boy still caught it. That great catch. I'll give it to him. That was a good catch. But dang. And now 2 of the teams that we beat are playing in the semifinals. I'm done talking about that shit. What's the next? Is NIL making it even? I've been seeing this been talking about a lot, especially was on I think First Take where Stephen A. Smith was talking to Ryan Clark, Cam Newton, and I forgot his name, but he also played at LSU with Ryan Clark. I don't think at the same time, but he was like, all these SEC powerhouses, they starting to get dominated or start losing these games, showing that NIL is now making things even. Like players that either used to be in the SEC that are transferring to other schools are now making things even, or teams are being able to now being able to pay players like high school recruits or other players in the transfer portal, give them big money to come play for them, to now give them chances to win big games. Like, we're not saying they always been a good school, but they had a few transfers, and those transfers showed that, hey, it ain't like how it used to be. Because I think he has said he was like, there's 13 out of the 15 national champions are from the SEC. And now, with how it's looking with NIL, it won't be like that ever again. Because now in the semifinals right now, it's only one SEC team. In Texas, this is their first year in the SEC. They're coming from the Big 12. And we know they got big money. So it's like, I'm not going to say that SEC is done. I'm just saying the playing field is now even. This it's truly a Power 5 now. It's not SEC, Big 10 running it. The Big 10, SEC are the bigger conferences that are going to pay the most to make sure it's always them two in the playoffs. But you're going to see ACC teams now being able to compete more. You're going to see Notre Dame independent teams. You're going to see teams like Boise State, SMU, Indiana make it because that NIL and players now being able to go wherever they want for money or having a chance to get exposure because they won it early to now so that they can play on bigger platforms. What's next? NFL Pro Bowl roster release. I don't really know why I wrote this down, but I think it was funny seeing that Patrick Mahomes wasn't the QB. And the reason I'm going to say why it was funny is because the QBs was Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. And I agree. Patrick Mahomes has not done anything spectacular this year. The majority of the games have been very, very close. We haven't heard about Patrick Mahomes this whole season making incredible plays. They've been winning games like this. Now, they have the best record in the NFL. Good teams win games. No matter how it is, just win. But Joe Burrow has been playing spectacular. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are two of the MVP candidates. It's like, why wouldn't they be quarterbacks? And Patrick Mahomes is hoping that Joe Burrow don't make the playoffs, because if he do, I think the Chiefs might make it to the Super Bowl because it's the Chiefs. But I think Josh Allen, or Lamar are the ones that's fighting to get into the Super Bowl for that. They're gonna fight for that AFC Championship to get into the Super Bowl. I think Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are gonna be the one fighting for that Super Bowl spot. And of course, I got the Lions winning. I'm a Panthers fan. I'll let that be known right now. I'm a Panthers fan, but the Lions just looking like they want to win. And I got them for a parlay to win the NFC Championship, which means they got to go to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? My last topic, NFL MVP. I'm going to keep this short. Lamar Jackson's the MVP. Why? One, he's having a better passing season than he did when win MVP. Way better numbers, more touchdowns, less interceptions, I think, more yards, better completion percentage, more accurate. He's also running the ball better than what's his name? Josh Allen. Josh Allen's having a great season too, because of how he plays. The Bills win, which I think is why people are leaning towards him, because they're seeing that he's helping his team win. And then people are looking at Lamar like, yeah, he's having a great season, MVP, but he also has a 1,800 plus runner in Derrick Henry. So I just think that helps boost him. Like, he can't help that. That's his teammate. Like, he's having an MVP. They're both having MVP years, but they just happen to be teammates. But Lamar's stats are way better than what it was when he won MVP. Now, when Josh Allen was in that MVP race with Lamar, when Lamar won, his stats were also better, but Lamar was winning. So it's like, it creates turmoil. It's like, well, is it going to be like another situation like before? Or are we going to give it to him again? Because he's having the better season. He's the better player. I was just seeing something. It was like they're trying to credit Josh Allen as much as they can because he had threw a pick and they called it like an arm punt or something. I'm like, yeah, come on. He threw a pick. But that can't really discredit him or nothing. Like, they both having great seasons, but I got Lamar Jackson. I think it would be like Lamar Jackson win MVP, but even though Josh Allen is having a great season, he wouldn't win Offensive Player of the Year because Offensive Player of the Year would go to Saquon Barkley. So I feel like no matter what, whoever went to the MVP won't win nothing else again. So if Lamar wins, Josh Allen won't get nothing. But if Josh Allen wins, Lamar still wouldn't get Offensive MVP because it'll go to Saquon Barkley. Man. What else did I have? Oh, that's it. Thank y'all for watching. Tune in next time on Jordan Sports Talk.